Alright. Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Late Night Tips. In tonight's episode, we're going to answer the fundamental question: should you buy a Moog Slim Phatty? Let's get right into it. I'll be honest with you, it's going to be difficult for me to be objective on this one because I'm a huge fan of my Slim Phatty. It's actually the first proper synthesizer that I bought, meaning that was the first synthesizer that I bought fully consciously, knowing what I wanted, having researched the thing and really understood the architecture of that synth. It was also a present I made myself on my 30th birthday. I decided that a man of a certain age needs a Moog. And I've had it ever since, and I'm not planning on selling. So, in order to provide at least a semblance of objectivity, I'd like to divide this review into three sections: pros, cons, and facts. And in the facts section, I'm going to talk about things that I personally don't like, but those are the things that come with the architecture. And you shouldn't really criticize them as design decisions because those are really legacy features. Okay, so let's start with the pros. First of all, the sound. It's the iconic, genre-defining sound. For many people, when they think of a synthesizer, they think of a mini Moog. When it comes to Slim Phatty, the oscillators are just awesome. They're super thick and powerful, and obviously the filter. Okay, first of all, let's go to a calibration mode and let's hear those oscillators. And that's just only one oscillator. If we add a second one, it's just really high quality. Probably even more importantly, the filter. It's just this quality, you can't get it on any other filter. I was so in love with the Slim Phatty filter that when I first got my Octatrack, I was like, I don't like the sound of the filter. Now I know that it's a different idea of a filter and I love my Octatrack filters, but the Slim Phatty filter was something that totally defined my understanding of what a good filter is. It's amazing. Second of all, it's just very functional. It's a desktop synthesizer without a keyboard, with an LCD and with presets. I don't have a lot of room. I wouldn't be able to accommodate a sub 37, for example, in here. So this is a perfect solution for me. Another thing that I really like is that it has a super easy init. So you can initialize a patch almost immediately. What you do, you just go to, here's my preset, and you just go to CA calibration. And that's your initial patch that you can save as something else later on. That's important for me because I like hardware synthesizers mostly because they're faster for me to work with. When I have to sort through presets, I just get discouraged and I just let go. I like starting every single sound from scratch, or at least from a template that I created, which makes it more fun for me. And I actually get things done more quickly when I start with an init sound. So it's awesome that it has that. And the other great thing about the Slim Phatty is the CC implementation. MIDI is really wide. You can really control a lot of things from an external device. Program changes work beautifully, and it's just well thought, and it just works. And it's so important, and it makes this synth relevant. Yeah, so those are really the things that I love about the Slim Phatty. Let's move on to a couple of cons. Let me start by saying that those cons could be specific to my unit. I'm not sure if everyone will have those issues. I read online that a couple of other people also had those issues. If you're thinking about buying a Slim Phatty, maybe take it for a test drive, check it for those issues. Well, first of all, there's a USB hum. So if you want to use MIDI over USB and also plug it into your USB sound card, I have experienced a horrible digital nasty hum coming from a ground loop in that particular scenario. So if you're thinking about using this over USB, check it. I don't use it. I use DINs right now, so it's all good for me. But over USB, it could be a problem. The second thing is sometimes the tuning kit gets a little dodgy. If you're in the manual tuning mode, which is, let me go fine tune. I'm in auto, but if you move to, yeah, fine tune the manual, it really takes a long time to warm up. So sometimes you just need to wait like 2 hours for it to settle and to be stable. That's why I actually have a guitar tuner plugged in to the headphone output on the Moog. Just in case if I need to check the tuning, I have that guitar pedal in here in the setup ready to go. With audio tuning, it actually works, but one thing I have to always remember about is I need to turn it on and give it about 5 minutes before I send any MIDI signal into the device. Because if I do, it's going to sort of get crazy and it's going to lose track, and then you're gonna have to tune it manually. That's at least is the case with my particular device. If you're buying one, check it. But those are the only two drawbacks that I really see on the Slim Phatty. So now let's move to facts. So things that I don't really love about the design, but those are the things that need to be in a Moog synthesizer because of the legacy of the history of those synthesizers. So first of all, as is usually the case with Moog synthesizers, if you add resonance, it's going to kill your bottom end. And quite significantly so. So you can hear that. So if you want to use it for acid sort of tones, 303 type of sounds, it's not the perfect machine for that. But that's the characteristic of a Moog filter. The second thing is that the overdrive I don't really like the sound of this overdrive. Again, I understand that it's a legacy feature because it mimics the old school trick with feeding headphone output into the external input of the device and overdriving the filter that way. But it actually takes away from the sound and you get much better results if you feed it through an overdrive box. There's a great video made by Bo Beats where he shows how his Moog Sub 37 works with an analog drive from Elektron. Check it out. And my final thing is that the LFO destinations are rather limited. I always lament when I don't have the LFO to amplitude. It used to be a problem for me. Now that I have the Octatrack, I can just assign a CC message to main volume or to oscillator levels and assign an LFO to that and just modulate amp however the hell I want. A couple of people criticized the layout, that there's no knob per function. And my response to them is just grow up. This is a beautifully designed interface and it's super easy, super intuitive, super quick. You can just check every single level very quickly just by tapping a button. So it's not a problem at all once you get used to that. And I actually think that the interface is really elegant on this one. Yeah, so that's it. I actually made a couple of videos in the past on how to modulate the Slim Phatty from the Octatrack. You can find it in here. If you have any questions about the Slim Phatty, make sure to drop a comment. I'd be more than happy to answer those questions. That's it. Have a great night and take care.